The Pander paradox. Why respect can't be begged for. Have you ever noticed how respect feels like a mirage in the desert of social interaction? You can chase it down, desperate to grasp it, only to find it slips through your fingers just as you think you're getting close. Welcome to the Pander paradox, where begging for respect only serves to deepen your desperation and diminish your value. This isn't just a lesson in social dynamics, it's a spiritual principle wrapped in layers of truth. The illusion of validation in today's world. The chase for validation often manifests in the allure of approval, likes, followers, accolades. Yet, there lies a painful reality. You cannot force respect upon others, nor can you construct it through begging or appeasement. We've all seen it, the person who constantly fawns over others, seeking acknowledgement at every turn. They throw themselves into the chaos, seeking to please, to fit in, but what they fail to realize is that true respect emanates from authenticity, not compliance. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the Pander paradox. Why respect can't be begged for. Have you ever noticed how respect feels like a mirage in the desert of social interaction? You can chase it down, desperate to grasp it, only to find it slips through your fingers just as you think you're getting close. Welcome to the Pander paradox, where begging for respect only serves to deepen your desperation and diminish your value. This isn't just a lesson in social dynamics, it's a spiritual principle wrapped in layers of truth. The illusion of validation in today's world. The chase for validation often manifests in the allure of approval, likes, followers, accolades. Yet, there lies a painful reality. You cannot force respect upon others, nor can you construct it through begging or appeasement. We've all seen it, the person who constantly fawns over others, seeking acknowledgement at every turn. They throw themselves into the chaos, seeking to please, to fit in, but what they fail to realize is that true respect emanates from authenticity, not compliance. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius stated, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you chase acceptance from external sources, you divest yourself of that power, becoming a puppet on strings controlled by societal expectations. Do you remember the days when acquiring that coveted verified blue tick on Instagram required contacting the platform via email, providing proof of authenticity and influence? Those days of meticulous verification seem like a distant memory. Today, major platforms like Twitter and Instagram have shifted their focus, offering one-click access to validation for a fee. On the surface, this may appear to be a convenient evolution in the digital landscape. However, beneath this facade lies a much more insidious agenda. It highlights a disturbing trend where validation is monetized, showcasing a power dynamic that favors the system. Understand this. The platforms view us as mere peons, individuals whose self-worth can be purchased. They teach us to believe that in order to receive validation from the exterior world, we must yield to mammon, surrendering our wealth for a fleeting symbol of approval. Don't scroll. Don't blink. This is the part you'll remember in 5 years. The temptation to pay for approval. The trend toward paying for validation speaks volumes about the shifting paradigm in how we view ourselves and our worth. Many see this as a simple transaction, a necessary step to compete in a visual economy fueled by likes and followers. Yet what it really does is bind you to a system that thrives on the illusion of worth. Ask yourself, what does it mean for your self-esteem and identity when you become beholden to a social media platform for affirmation? You might as well surrender your autonomy to a system designed to extract your value rather than cultivate it. Remember the biblical warning in Proverbs 23 verse 7. For he is like one who is inwardly calculating. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. Here, we're reminded that external appearances, yes, can be deceptive, including those badges of validation. We must hold true to the understanding that our identity and worth are not best measured by algorithmic approval. The corrosive nature of validation. This ideology spills over into broader social interactions, significantly influencing how simps engage with women. If you glance at the comment sections of posts from Instagram baddies, you'll observe droves of men digitally prostrating themselves, proclaiming their love, sending empty words of flattery, and sometimes even offering marriage proposals. They've drunk the poison Kool-Aid, believing they must bow before these individuals in the hope of gaining attention or affection. Here's the reality: she is just a girl. Regardless of her physical appearance, she experiences good days and bad days just like everyone else. The issue lies not in the attractiveness of individuals, but in the growing power struggle between men, women, and the overarching system that tries to pit them against each other. We are conditioned to view women, especially those elevated in social media realms, as objects of worship rather than as fellow travelers on life's journey. This flawed view diminishes true connection, reducing meaningful interactions to superficial transactions governed by likes and clicks. The fallacy of worship, this commodification of validation, creates a fallacy, one that elevates individuals above one another and perpetuates harmful dynamics. It teaches that validation is a currency we must earn, reinforcing the spiritual bondage of comparison and envy. This is not just a casual loss of self. It can lead individuals into cycles of inadequacy, fueling unhealthy patterns of relationships and personal esteem. Blame-shifting, jealousy, and petty rivalries thrive in an environment where validation is shallow. It erodes the spirit of genuine love and connection, replacing it with transactional relationships that ultimately leave both parties drained. As men, remember this: you do not need to pay a platform to tell you that you are good enough. The fact that you are made in the image of the Most High is more than sufficient proof of your uniqueness and worth. Genesis 1 verse 27 tells us, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them." This foundational truth gives us an unwavering basis for our identity, grounding us in the understanding that our value is inherent, not contingent upon worldly recognition. Keep listening, because what I'm about to say is why the enemy never wanted you to hear this. Reclaiming personal power. So how do we reclaim our power amidst this onslaught of societal expectations and fads? Cultivate inner validation. Shift your focus inward, nurturing a sense of worth that stems from your relationship with God and your understanding of your identity. Engage daily in practices that affirm your worth. Prayer, reflection, and self-affirmation can fortify your spirit against external forces that seek to undermine it. Noting influential connections. Be mindful of the characters in your life and the impact they have on your self-perception. Surround yourself with those who uplift rather than those who attempt to manipulate your thoughts or actions for their gain. Engaging in meaningful interactions. Redirect your energies away from superficial exchanges. Instead, foster relationships rooted in authenticity and depth. Seek connections, be they friendships or romantic pursuits, that reflect mutual respect and understanding. These genuine interactions will affirm your sense of self and empower you to pursue relationships that enhance your life rather than diminish it. 4. Embrace the practice of discernment. Developing discernment is vital in navigating the complexities of validation and relationships. Begin by assessing the conversations and content you engage in. Ask yourself, does this interaction support my spiritual growth? Does this content elevate my understanding of self and God's purpose for me? In doing so, you cultivate a discerning heart, empowering yourself to recognize when validation becomes a counterfeit from the enemy rather than a genuine affirmation of worth. This aligns with the advice found in Matthew 7:15-20, where Jesus warns to beware of false prophets, emphasizing that you should discern the fruit of all interactions. This is where the matrix glitches. Watch closely. The value of silence. Embrace the power of silence and withdrawal. In periods of stillness, you can realign with your true self and establish a deeper connection with God. Silence allows you to sift through the noise of societal expectations and refocus your energy on what matters most. As the prophet Habakkuk wrote in Habakkuk 2 verse 20, But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. This call to silence reflects the transformative power found in stillness, where you can reconnect with the divine and center yourself amid the distractions of the world. 5. Reinvigorating your purpose. When you focus on your purpose, recognizing that your journey is sacred, your actions align with your true essence. Remind yourself that success does not hinge on societal approval. It is rooted in your ability to recognize and cultivate your individual talents and gifts. Live with intention, understanding that your contributions to the world are valid and worthwhile, for you are made in God's image and have inherent value. As Colossians 3 verse 23 commands, "Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men." This scripture encourages a shift in focus from external validation to a devotion that honors God. Rising above society's expectations. In conclusion, as we explore the nuances of the illusion of validation, it's essential to recognize the dynamics that feed into the constant chase for approval. Understanding that the enemy strategically places these distractions in our paths to dilute our focus reveals the need for endurance, clarity, and purpose. Your journey must be one of self-discovery, embracing the unique calling and assignments God has for your life. By engaging thoughtfully with your identity, the quality of your connections, and your inner validation, you position yourself to rise above societal pressures and expectations. You are more than a product of social media trends or fleeting recognition. You are a vessel of purpose, meant to shine brightly in a world that often obscures its light. So, hold on to your truth. Turn away from the distracting allure of counterfeit validation and embrace the path laid before you with courage and expectancy. This has been an exploration of the illusion of validation within ascending knowledge. Remain rooted in your identity, continue to seek the truth, and rise as the warrior you are meant to be. Until we meet again, keep ascending and shining your light. I need you to pause what you're doing and really catch what I'm about to say. The energy shift, respect, and authenticity. Let's break this down. When you compromise your essence in the name of acceptance, you surrender your standing in the game. You oscillate between light and shadow as you navigate through a world that preaches conformity. The energy shift becomes palpable. You are no longer the vibrant light you were meant to be, but merely a reflection of everyone else's desires. Instead of begging for respect, cultivate self-respect. This isn't merely self-affirmation. It stems from recognizing your worth, intrinsic and God-given. When you stand firm in your identity, respect becomes a natural byproduct of your existence. Remember this: as spirits of light, the respect we gain is a reflection of our truth, rooted in authenticity rather than pandering. Real-world examples. The testing of respect. Pause for a moment and consider the significant figures we've seen rise and fall in the age of social media. How many influencers have we watched claw their way to the top, only to be criticized the moment they step out of line? They bend so low to garner approval, trading their authenticity for fleeting fame, only to find themselves met with ridicule when they fail to measure up to shifting winds of popularity. This phenomenon mirrors the age-old adage from Proverbs 29, verse 25, "The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe." The heart that chases validation from people blocks the flow of divine favor upon its life. It's a snare that paralyzes progress, linking worthiness to public opinion rather than God's unchanging truth. The Bible poignantly states, "Woe to you when all men speak well of you." Luke 6 verse 26. This verse used to perplex me in my younger years. In my naivete, I believed that Jesus taught us to strive for universal acceptance, thinking that if everyone loved us, they would be more inclined to accept Christ. However, this couldn't be further from the profound truth he shared. Jesus came to bring a sword, not peace. He understood something about human psychology that many people overlook. If everyone loves you, the thin line separating their support from potential betrayal is so delicate it is nearly invisible. This notion is crucial to comprehend in our day-to-day interactions. If the first half spoke to your mind, this part is going to speak to your spirit. The thin line of popularity and betrayal. The reality is, those who genuinely change the world, the game changers, the innovators, the pioneers, are rarely engaged in popular contentment. Popularity often breeds complacency, a state that encourages individuals to remain comfortable rather than confront difficult truths. Living within this comforting fantasy might seem painless in the short term, yet it disallows personal evolution. Just take a moment to consider the friends in your life who remain shackled to toxic, parasitic relationships or marriages simply because the comfort of familiarity outweighs the fear of change. I know many, and truthfully, I was one of them. I stayed in a relationship with a girlfriend who, deep down, I knew was emotionally undermining me, my biggest hater. I ignored every red flag, convincing myself that settling was the safest option. I feared the judgment that came with saying, I made the wrong choice. This approach to life serves as a warning, a call to awaken from our slumber before it's too late. Heed this message, your spiritual soul depends on it. The reality of relationships: if everyone in your life loves you to the point of excess, it's likely that you are surrounded by snakes. They may put on a facade of support, but deep down, envy can seep in, fostering an environment fraught with insincerity. 1. Recognizing hidden malice. Consider those who only engage with you when you are at your peak. When you face challenges or shift your path, they might quickly retreat or disappear. Their affection hinges on your continued success or emotional balance. Their presence reflects conditional love, not genuine support. Reflect on the warning found in Proverbs 1 verse 10. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. This verse serves as a stark reminder to be vigilant about the company you keep. Those who secretly wish to see you falter may not be overt in their manipulation, but it is vital to keep watchful eyes on those who navigate your relationships with ulterior motives. The cost of complacency: settling for comfort in relationships nurtures a cycle that can lead to spiritual stagnation. When you prioritize the approval of others over your own truth, you inherently compromise your values and integrity. The enemy thrives in these encounters, cloaking deceit in empty words of love or praise. 2. The danger of pleasing others. As you pursue success, the pressure to conform and please others can feel overwhelming. The desire for validation transforms into a loud siren, calling you away from your authentic path. This urge leads many astray, as they forsake their own aspirations in favor of seeking the approval of the masses. In Matthew 6 verse 24, we are reminded, no one can serve two masters. When you attempt to juggle the pressures of societal expectations alongside your divine purpose, you risk losing both. Choose wisely whom you seek to please and align yourself with those who genuinely uplift and encourage your growth. Now, this is the part they'll never teach in church or school. The need for vigilance in embracing this reality. Acknowledge that the testing of respect often reveals deeper truths. Those who test your boundaries may inadvertently expose flaws in your character that need addressing. This is not a punishment, but a divine opportunity for growth, compelling you to rise above the superficial and connect with your authentic self. 3. Embrace the expansiveness of authentic connections. Seek out relationships that foster honesty and vulnerability. Connections that promote mutual respect. Surround yourself with individuals who mirror your ambitions, lifting each other toward greatness. 4. Evaluate and release toxic connections. Engage in the practice of evaluating your relationships regularly. Allow yourself to release connections that no longer serve your growth. This might feel painful, but remember, letting go of what is unhealthy creates space for healthier, more empowering relationships that can significantly enhance your journey. Conclusion. The commitment to authenticity. In conclusion, as you reflect on the testing of respect, understand that your relationships are vital to your spiritual and personal journey. Embrace this understanding with courage and actively cultivate connections that resonate with your true self. The journey may involve confronting uncomfortable truths about those around you, but in doing so, you are stepping into a powerful position of self-awareness and integrity. Recognize that the testing of respect is not merely about pleasing others or navigating social validation. Instead, it is an invitation to deepen your identity and nurture relationships that align with your divine purpose. Here's where it gets deeper. You ready? Stay with me. Embracing authentic relationships, the power of genuine connection. Authentic relationships act as both mirrors and catalysts on your journey. They reflect your values and aspirations while encouraging growth and accountability. Surrounding yourself with those who uplift you fosters an environment conducive to elevation. As you strive toward your own purpose, seek connections that inspire you to evolve, reminding you of the potential within. Nurturing mutual growth. Invest in relationships where growth is mutual. Whether through shared experiences, collective pursuits, or spiritual discussions, the interactions should resonate with purpose. When couples, friends, or community members embark on journeys of support, they create an ecosystem of healing, encouragement, and accountability. Proverbs 27 verse 17 articulates this beautifully. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. In this nurturing space, you fortify each other's resolve in the face of life's challenges. Recognizing the signs of toxicity, be vigilant in identifying relationships that bring toxicity or drain your spirit. Those who try to undermine your goals or belittle your aspirations harbor energy that can negatively impact your journey. As you strive for authenticity, it's essential to remove or limit interaction with individuals who are not aligned with your growth. Those who ask questions not out of genuine interest, but from a desire to monitor or undermine. The importance of self-reflection. Take the time to engage in self-reflection. Ask yourself, are the relationships in my life nurturing my spirit? Do they support my goals and dreams? What patterns repeat that signal the need for change? Self-awareness is in Proverbs 15 verse 1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This insight underscores the importance of tactical communication, speaking from a place of strength, perspective, and understanding. But wait, don't miss this next part, because this is where most people fall off. Rise above the noise and summary. As we reflect on the testing of respect and the importance of accountability, remember that your journey is yours to navigate. Seek genuine connections that uplift and inspire while remaining vigilant against superficial engagements that stunt your growth. The cost of pander culture. The reality here is stark. Begging for respect leads not only to disappointment, but often to a deeper chasm of self-doubt and mediocrity. It perpetuates a cycle where authenticity is sacrificed for acceptance, and genuine connections are overshadowed by performative interactions. As we navigate this landscape, we must ask ourselves, are we shaping our identities based on who we think we should be, or are we fully embracing who we are? Every time you compromise your own values, choosing the path of least resistance rather than confronting the discomfort of standing firm, you reinforce the enemy's power over you. In this NCE of pandering, you surrender your essence and trade authenticity for empty applause. Understand this, you cannot reclaim your power by pandering to another. This is not in Proverbs 15 verse 1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This insight underscores the importance of tactical communication, speaking from a place of strength, perspective, and understanding. But wait, don't miss this next part, because this is where most people fall off. Rise above the noise and summary. As we reflect on the testing of respect and the importance of accountability, remember that your journey is yours to navigate. Seek genuine connections that uplift and inspire while remaining vigilant against superficial engagements that stunt your growth. The cost of pander culture. The reality here is stark. Begging for respect leads not only to disappointment, but often to a deeper chasm of self-doubt and mediocrity. It perpetuates a cycle where authenticity is sacrificed for acceptance, and genuine connections are overshadowed by performative interactions. As we navigate this landscape, we must ask ourselves, are we shaping our identities based on who we think we should be, Or are we fully embracing who we are? Every time you compromise your own values, choosing the path of least resistance rather than confronting the discomfort of standing firm, you reinforce the enemy's power over you. In this ince of pandering, you surrender your essence and trade authenticity for empty applause. Understand this: you cannot reclaim your power by pandering to another. This is not how human behavior works. We are inherently social creatures, wired to navigate social hierarchies, constantly assessing our position within them. If you seek to climb this ladder, pandering to those above you is the absolute worst strategy to adopt. You will be the architect of your own demise for two critical reasons. 1. Kings do not ask for power, they demand it. True leaders possess an innate understanding of their worth and authority. They don't ask, they demand acknowledgement of their place in the hierarchy. They walk with a quiet confidence that commands respect and admiration. This can be seen in the steadfastness of figures like Martin Luther King Jr., who did not merely seek permission to lead. He embodied leadership through action, resolve, and purpose. Conversely, those who engage in pandering often appear weak or desperate for validation. They give others the upper hand by diluting their own power, which leads to a perpetual cycle of invisibility. The sad reality is that this performative behavior rarely yields genuine relationships or the respect you seek. 2. The subconscious labeling of the help. When you pander to someone, presenting yourself as overly sweet or overly accommodating, they might consciously label you as kind or nice. But on a subconscious level, they often categorize you as the help. This diminishes your presence, stripping you of authority and influence. In pursuing this validation, you forfeit your power and agency, presenting yourself as someone who is perpetually subordinate rather than equal. As C.S. Lewis reminds us, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. True humility recognizes your inherent worth without yielding to the temptation of being subservient. The cycle of pander culture, the culture of pandering, fuels a cycle of dependency and superficiality. You might think that by being excessively accommodating and agreeable, you create opportunities for advancement. However, rather than admiration, this behavior breeds resentment and distance. People who have been in proximity to real power recognize that authentic leaders do not engage in such behaviors. Instead, they stand firm in their values, speaking their truths with conviction and clarity, not with ulterior motives or manipulative tactics hidden behind kindness. What I realized next changed everything. Reclaiming your power. So how do you take your power back? How do you free yourself from the shackles of pander culture? Here are some key strategies to reclaim your authenticity and assert your rightful place at the table. 1. Know your worth. Acknowledge your value, recognizing that you have much to offer, not just in terms of achievements, but also in character. This foundational understanding is essential in demanding respect rather than begging for it. As Psalm 139 verse 14 proclaims, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well." Your inherent worth is not just a sentiment. It's the truth that should guide each interaction. 2. Demand respect through confidence. Shift from a mindset of seeking validation to one of asserting your position. Approach discussions and opportunities with a demeanor that reflects your self-respect. Use affirmations that highlight your capabilities. Remind yourself that you are worthy of being considered an equal, deserving of space and acknowledgement within any conversation or setting. 3. Set boundaries. Establish boundaries that signal to others how you wish to be treated. If someone crosses those boundaries, whether through disrespect or manipulation, be prepared to articulate your stance plainly and assertively. Boundaries communicate respect for yourself and establish a standard for how you expect to be treated. 4. Cultivate authentic relationships. Seek out connections with those who appreciate and respect your worth. Build relationships grounded in mutual support and understanding. Authentic interactions will foster an environment where you can thrive without the pressure to pander. 5. Engage in continuous growth. Pursue personal and spiritual growth actively. Invest in your talents, educate yourself, and expand your knowledge. Never cease to elevate your craft, as this continuous effort reinforces your confidence and positions you as a leader among peers. In embracing your true identity, you stand apart from the culture of pandering, creating a lasting legacy defined by integrity and authenticity. This spiritual journey is not about being liked or accepted. It is about bravely walking in your truth and inviting others to do the same. The path may be challenging, and the pressure to conform may weigh heavily. However, you are destined for greatness beyond the confines of temporary validation. Stand firm in your identity, for the call to leadership is not just yours, it's a collective journey encouraging all to rise as one. In conclusion, recognize that the pursuit of disingenuous validation only serves to diminish your power. Embrace the truth that you do not need to pander to gain respect or recognition. Instead, reclaim your rightful place as a warrior of light, armed with the knowledge of your inherent worth. This journey demands courage and steadfastness. It requires you to acknowledge the pitfalls of pandering culture and commit to living authentically, even when it feels challenging or uncomfortable. You are called to break free from the cultural scripts that dictate how you should behave and to forge your own path defined by integrity and strength. The transformative power of authenticity. When you choose authenticity over pandering, you open doors to deeper connections and more meaningful interactions. Authenticity fosters trust and creates an environment where genuine relationships can thrive. You'll find that when you express your true self, others are drawn to your energy, appreciating the courage it takes to be real in a world that often encourages superficiality. Reject superficial expectations. Be cautious of the pressures to conform to the expectations set by society. Whether in your personal relationships, career aspirations, or creative pursuits, cling to your truth, for it is the foundation that will carry you through the inevitable